Hi, everyone. Welcome. This is Aaron Davis. I am the instructor for the Working the Roots class through the Blackthorne School, and I thought I would just leave a little video here for your consideration to think about 5 reasons why I think this class is something that would be of interest to you, that would help you in your spiritual walk, whatever your path may be, and will bring benefits to your life and to your practice. So the first thing is the first reason is I think that you will see that you will gain a foundation in one of the few uniquely American folk practices that we have in this particular country. There are folk practices all over the world, but Hoodoo, which is what I am teaching here, is one of the uniquely American practices that went through several evolutions over the years, the decades, and even the centuries that it has been in existence here in America. So we will explore that. We will explore the history. We will explore how the different strands of Hoodoo came together to make it what it is. We will explore the evolutionary impulse of the tradition. To this day, it's still evolving, it's still shaping and forming into something that is never static, never boring. It is dynamic. Even the way you practice it, you learn certain things, you learn certain approaches, and then you shift and adapt and you make it your own. So that is one of the beautiful things about that we will explore from beginning to end of this course. The second reason that I would say it would be worth taking this class is you'll be learning from yours truly. You'll be learning from a practitioner who I'm not only teaching the tools and the kind of technical know-how. There are many courses out there already that do that, and they do it in spades, and they're okay. I've taken some of them. I've learned some things from them that are good. I've incorporated some of those things over time. But what I have not seen in my studies, whether it's in a book or in a course like this, I've not seen very many people, very many teachers or instructors actually talking about practical application, talking about different scenarios that, maybe I love working a particular way will work here, but not so well here. And also create a space for people to talk about that, to talk about their experiences, how you adjust, how you adapt, how you jazz it out, as I say. There's a lot of jazz because Hoodoo has at its core also the blues musical tradition. And we know several musical forms spawned from the blues, jazz, the gospel music, all of that is connected and weaved together. And so that impulse, that way that the African American spirit expresses itself in times of joy and in times of sorrow, all of that is wrapped up in this beautiful American tradition, folk tradition. So we'll be talking about that a lot. I one of the main reasons why I wanted to do this course was so that people would have more than just a bunch of tools thrown at them. Going deeper than what does it mean to make a mojo bag? Going deeper than, what does it mean to uncross someone, or how to make a bath? Those things you can literally pick up books at a bookstore or Barnes and Noble or whatever, and you can learn those things within 5 minutes. So you've got that tool, but you don't necessarily have the know-how, the practical aspects of it, the pieces that you really need to shift and change, depending on what the condition is that you're dealing with. So we'll be exploring all of that in the 8 weeks of the class. Third reason I would give is you'll be learning in the context of community. Now, granted, it is a virtual community. We're making copious use of Facebook and the groups in it and the videos that we use each week, worksheets. We have all of that. But also the thing that sets this course apart from many others like it is the fact that you're learning in community. You know, it's not just me opening up an online class where I'm studying for 8 weeks all by myself and then I get a certificate at the end. No, but the intention here is for you to develop a core of colleagues, really, of other rootworking practitioners around the country, around the world, where you all will be able to share what your experiences are as you do the work, as you try the assignments and the challenges each week, the hoodoo hacks as I call them. As you try them, you're going to get results, some good, some not so good. Maybe sometimes it doesn't work. And, you know, all of those things we will be able to come together and talk about so that we become better practitioners. And that really is a core part of hoodoo. Really core. It is not an individualistic spiritual practice. I'm sure people do that. I'm sure people practice it that way, but it's really a communal practice. The whole point of it was to preserve and protect the vulnerable elements of community, particularly women and children during the times of slavery, which we will talk about, American slavery. So that produced a very earthy, very no-nonsense spiritual tradition that doesn't have any compunctions about blessing 1 second and cursing the next. And that's because of the situation and circumstances from which it was born. So you will be learning that together, along with me. I'm a part of that community as well. And, you know, we'll walk together, we'll learn together, we'll probably laugh a lot too. I have all kinds of humorous things that happen to me all the time when I'm doing my spiritual work. And that's a good part of it. That's a part of the medicine as well. But I really want to emphasize the community element and the dynamic of it, because without that community, you don't grow and advance and develop as much as a spiritual worker as you would at a much slower pace if you were just going at it alone. The fourth piece is you'll be learning a path with hoodoo, in a particular version of hoodoo that I'm teaching, that allows you to balance or hold in tension you being the unique you as a practitioner, while also honoring the tradition. You know, this is not a class for people to just kind of come and pick up what they want and just go and pretend like it didn't come from somewhere. That's why I start the class I do the way I do, where, you know, we all come from somewhere. We didn't just get created out of nothing. You know, we have parents, we have a city or a town that we come from, and all of that is really our personal power when you're talking about hoodoo. So that becomes a really big part of consideration in taking the class, and it's going to be a big part of how we come together as a community in this issue of balancing tradition with the uniqueness of ourselves. It's going to be an issue from start to finish. It's not like one unit. This is something that I want us to be continually discussing and considering in our practical work, because it's really, really important. You know, it's really, really important to hold those two things in balance or in tension, because that's where a lot of creativity happens. You know, both what you bring as the person you are, and also I'm assuming that this is not the only spiritual path that you practice. So you're bringing all of that with you. You're not checking it at the door. That becomes a part of the communal conversation and a part of your creation of your own practice that's informed by the hoodoo tradition. So I think that's fun and exciting. That is something where when I started this all the years ago that I did it and learned about it and incorporated it with the other things that I practice, you know, I really saw hoodoo for me as kind of the crossroads tradition of my spiritual practice, my personal spiritual practice. You know, it is the thing that intersects everything else I do. You know, the prayers I use, the herbs I use, the time of day I might do something, the way I approach certain problems, you know, not just in a kind of, you know, corner psychic reader little storefront, but actually somebody comes with a problem, I will divine and investigate and figure out what the problem is, but also to make prescription, to give them a remedy to their situation, to their condition, to their problems. So this Hoodoo is very solution-based, to use modern terminology. It's a very solutions-based approach. It's not just about identifying what's wrong or foretelling the future. As a matter of fact, I would say that is far less important to this tradition than it is kind of dealing with the now, dealing with the immediate needs that you and your community around you may have, so that you stay in a place of strength. At least that's my hope for you. Fifth, I think you will learn different ways in this class, and I think this is really important, to take care of yourself, to take care of the community, your family, your loved ones, your friends, all the people who are close to you. This class will really give you the tools to provide that care spiritually to those people who are meaningful to you. And what better thing to have during this time of living in a global pandemic, all kinds of other uncertainties, things going on in our various countries, police violence, riots, whatever it may be. It's a really important time for us to have our own tools to be able to take care of ourselves, to be able to restore and rejuvenate ourselves, to be able to heal those around us who are sick or weary or heavy laden or psychologically overwhelmed. Not to replace things like therapy, but to have the spiritual modalities as a complement to other things that people may do to take care of and heal themselves. So that's really important to me, that people emerge from the class with yet a different set of tools and knowledge and know-how of how to do just that thing, to take care of those whom they love, because that was the point and purpose of Hoodoo in many ways. It was not about the baneful work of cursing and crossing and death magic, and all that is there, but that's not the heart of it. That's not the core of it. The core of it is to keep together family and community. However we describe that and live it out, it's to keep that in a strong, cohesive bond. So that's why in this 8-week course, I don't go into in any depths. I don't go into any real baneful, negative workings, other than some kind of self-defense kinds of things, so to speak, which are important to know from the start. But that's not the point, because I didn't start there. I didn't start doing those cursing and crossing things. Those are things I learned much later, because I wasn't interested in that when I started. When I started, I wanted to bring healing and relief from suffering, either in the body, the mind, the spirit. So I was learning about herbs. I was learning about herbs in different ways, and sometimes following my intuition, and making concoctions and things, and just observing the effect that had on those around me, who I loved, or who I cared for. Whether it was their depression and discouragement, whether it was just being sick from a really bad cold or the flu, whatever it may be. I just wanted to bring some relief from those things. So that's why this class is designed the way it is. There will be exploration of those other things, hopefully in the future with a subsequent class. But here today, in working the roots, this is really about feeling the ground under our feet, really feeling that firmness and having that foundation, so that then we can spring forward into a number of different directions, but never lose sight of the basics. They're so important. So I'll leave it there. I hope that piques your interest a bit. I hope that you have heard some things here that maybe weren't clear in some of the other things you've seen so far. And, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to myself or to the Blackthorne School, and I will get back to you. And I look forward to seeing you in class. Take care.